You hear it first as a whisper, almost like the quiet rustling of leaves in the wind. "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." The words strike something deep inside you. They don't feel like coincidence, don't feel like something you just happened to stumble upon. They feel personal, directed, intimate, as though the God of the universe leaned close and whispered them into your ear. You've been carrying so much: stress, uncertainty, financial pressure, emotional exhaustion, and for a moment you feel your chest tighten because you know this is not just any verse. This is a lifeline being thrown to you when you've been struggling to stay afloat. For so long, you've been the one who pushes through, the one who gets back up after being knocked down, the one who finds a way to smile even when your soul is aching. But God sees beneath the surface. He knows the silent battles you fought in the middle of the night, when the world was asleep and you were left with your thoughts. He knows how you've prayed prayers that felt like they hit the ceiling and fell back down. He knows how you've told yourself to be strong for everyone else, even when you barely had the strength to hold yourself together. And now, through this simple yet powerful invitation, He's telling you something you've needed to hear for a long time. You've done enough. Rest. This isn't rest the way the world defines it, numbing yourself with distractions, pretending you're fine, or taking a quick break only to return to the same cycle of exhaustion. This is a holy rest, a divine rest, the kind that sinks into your bones and revives your soul. It's not just about getting sleep or catching your breath. It's about God stepping in to carry what you were never meant to carry alone. You've been holding on to burdens that have weighed you down, but He's saying it's time to let Him take over. Think about the storms you've weathered, the disappointments that stung so deeply you wondered if you'd ever recover, the moments you questioned whether God had forgotten about you. Yet, through it all, you're still here. And the fact that you're here, still searching, still hoping, is proof that God has never let go of you. Every tear you shed, He collected. Every prayer you whispered, He heard. Every silent cry for help, He answered. Not always in the way you expected, but in the way that kept you moving forward to this exact moment. Now, He's not just offering you a moment of relief, He's offering you a complete shift. Imagine the Creator of the heavens and the earth looking at you and saying, "I will carry this now. Put it on me. Your striving ends here." It's not just a comforting sentiment, it's a divine decree. This is God declaring that your season of endless struggle is over, that He is stepping in to replace your weariness with strength, your anxiety with peace, your emptiness with abundance. Maybe part of you hesitates to believe it. After all, life has taught you to expect the other shoe to drop, to brace yourself for disappointment, to think that rest and blessing are for other people but not for you. But the very fact that these words resonate in your spirit is proof that they're meant for you. God's Spirit confirms what your heart longs to believe. This message is not random. It's not a coincidence. It's a divine appointment. Think of it this way. When Jesus first spoke those words in Matthew 11:28, He wasn't just talking to the people gathered around Him. He was speaking across time, directly to weary souls like yours. He saw you then, and He sees you now. He knew the burdens you'd carry, the battles you'd fight, the nights you'd cry yourself to sleep. And He prepared these words like a timeless love letter, waiting for the day when you'd be ready to hear them. That day is today. Rest doesn't mean you're weak. Rest doesn't mean you've failed. Rest means you've been strong for so long that now God is saying, "Let me be your strength." Picture yourself handing over the heavy backpack you've been carrying for years, filled with fear, disappointment, financial pressure, family struggles, guilt, regret, and watching God lift it with ease. You no longer have to hunch under the weight of it all, because He is carrying it for you. This is more than a pause. It's a transition. Rest is the doorway to transformation. When you stop striving, you make room for God's power to move in your life. You create space for miracles you couldn't have engineered on your own. You begin to see how His plans are higher, His timing more perfect, and His love deeper than anything you could imagine. Remember, even Jesus Himself took time to rest. After ministering to crowds, after healing the sick, after teaching for hours, He withdrew to quiet places to pray and be refreshed by His Father. If the Son of God needed rest, how much more do you? And the rest God is offering you now isn't about laziness or avoidance. It's about renewal. It's about equipping you for the blessings ahead, strengthening you for the purpose He has planned, and reminding you that you don't have to live in survival mode anymore. Close your eyes for a moment and picture this: waking up in the morning without that pit in your stomach, without the crushing weight of how will I make it through today. Instead, you rise with peace. You rise knowing that the God of the universe is holding your day, orchestrating every detail, aligning opportunities, and carrying what you cannot. That is what His rest looks like. That is what He's inviting you into right now. And here's the truth: you don't have to earn it. You don't have to prove you're worthy of it. You don't have to achieve some level of perfection before you can accept it. This rest is a gift. It's grace. It's God saying, I choose you right now as you are. You may feel unqualified, unworthy, or unprepared, but that doesn't change the fact that you are chosen. And because you are chosen, you are invited into this divine rest that transforms not only your soul, but every part of your life. So breathe, really breathe. Let your shoulders drop. Let your mind unclench. And let this truth settle into your heart. You don't have to carry it all anymore. God is here. God is taking over. And this is only the beginning of a journey that will lead you into peace, prosperity, and purpose beyond what you've ever imagined. You've always felt it, haven't you? That deep down whisper that you're not ordinary. That no matter how many times life tried to convince you otherwise, something inside of you knew you were meant for more. It's the reason you've survived storms that could have broken others. The reason you've kept going even when quitting felt easier. The reason you're here reading these words right now. Because you are chosen. Not by chance, not by luck, but by the Creator of heaven and earth. Handpicked, set apart, designed with intention. The world may have tried to define you by your struggles. Maybe they labeled you by your failures, your financial setbacks, your broken relationships, your mistakes. But God doesn't see you through the lens of what went wrong. He sees you through the lens of what He created you to be. He looks at you and says, "You are mine. You are chosen. You are destined for abundance, for peace, for joy." This isn't about self-help or wishful thinking. It's about divine truth. And the truth is, God never created you to just scrape by, to just survive. He created you for a life that overflows in every way, spiritually, financially, emotionally, and relationally. Think about the people in Scripture who were chosen. Joseph, who went from a pit to a palace. Moses, who felt unqualified but was called to lead a nation. David, a shepherd boy overlooked by his own family, yet chosen to be king. None of them looked like the obvious choice. None of them felt ready. Yet God chose them anyway, not because of their status, not because of their resources, but because of His purpose. And just like them, you may not feel like the obvious choice. You may not feel ready. But God sees beyond what you see. He sees your heart, your resilience, your faith, your willingness to keep standing when life tried to knock you down. That's why you're chosen. Being chosen doesn't mean life will be easy. In fact, the very battles you've faced are evidence of your calling. The enemy doesn't fight people who have no future. The attacks, the struggles, the long seasons of waiting, they've all been because of the greatness inside of you. But here's the shift. The season of struggle is coming to an end. God is declaring that now is the time for you to step into overflow. He is about to make sense of everything you've endured, weaving it all together into a testimony that will leave others in awe. And you won't just step into blessings for yourself, you'll become a blessing for others. That's what being chosen is really about. God's abundance isn't meant to stop with you. It's meant to flow through you. Financial freedom, emotional healing, spiritual strength, all of it positions you to impact the world around you. Imagine being able to help your family without worrying about money, to give generously to those in need, to inspire others just by the way you live your life. That's what God is setting you up for. You've questioned before, why me? Why do I have to go through this? Why does it feel so heavy? The answer is simple. You are being refined. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is purified in fire, and chosen ones are shaped through trials. Every tear, every disappointment, every closed door was preparation for the abundance ahead. You weren't being punished, you were being positioned for a life where your struggles become your strength, your pain becomes your platform, and your story becomes proof of God's faithfulness. And here's the beautiful part. God doesn't just choose you for the future. He already chose you from the beginning. Ephesians 1:4 says, "For he chose us in him before the creation of the world." That means, before you ever took your first breath, before you ever faced your first battle, before you ever made your first mistake, God already had his hand on your life. Nothing you've been through disqualified you from his plan. If anything, it made his choice of you even more powerful. So, what does it mean to live as the chosen? It means walking with a confidence that doesn't come from circumstances, but from identity. It means knowing that even when life feels shaky, your foundation is unshakable because it's built on God's promises. It means choosing faith over fear, purpose over pain, and trust over worry. It means waking up every morning and reminding yourself, I am chosen. I am not ordinary. I am created for abundance. Close your eyes and picture this. You walking into a room, not weighed down by insecurity or doubt, but radiating a quiet confidence. People can't quite put their finger on it, but they sense something different about you. It's peace. It's faith. It's the presence of God shining through you. That's what happens when you embrace your identity as chosen. You stop striving to prove yourself, and you start living as though you already are who God says you are. And when you do, doors begin to open. Opportunities begin to align. People begin to show up in your life who are connected to your destiny. Because being chosen means you don't have to chase what's meant for you. It chases you. God orchestrates divine connections, unexpected favor, and breakthroughs that you couldn't have created on your own. All because you dared to believe that His word over you is stronger than the world's opinion of you. So hear this again. You are chosen, not because of what you've done, but because of who God is. Not because you're perfect, but because His grace is perfect. Not because you're the obvious choice, but because you're His choice, and that is enough. Today, step into that truth. Wear it like armor. Let it shape your thoughts, your actions, your dreams. You are not just another face in the crowd. You are the one God handpicked for this season, for this moment, for this blessing. And nothing, no obstacle, no failure, no enemy can change that. You've been carrying so much, haven't you? The weight of responsibilities, the pressure to provide, the fear of what tomorrow might hold. It's been like walking with a heavy backpack day after day, barely able to stand up straight. And though you've managed to keep moving, deep down you've known it's not sustainable. That's why this moment is so important, because God is saying, enough, let it go, cast your cares on me. He isn't just inviting you to lay down the load, He's commanding it, because you were never designed to carry it in the first place. Think about what it means to let go. For so long, your instinct has been to hold on tighter, to try to figure it all out, to make things happen on your own, to worry as if worrying could change anything. But God is calling you to a higher way. Psalm 55:22 says, "Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken." That means, the moment you release your burdens into His hands, He takes responsibility for them. He becomes your strength, your sustainer, your provider. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you ignore your responsibilities or pretend problems don't exist. It means you acknowledge that your strength alone is not enough, and it doesn't have to be. It means you recognize that God's shoulders are broader than yours, His wisdom deeper, His power limitless. When you surrender, you're not giving up. You're stepping up into a life where divine power works on your behalf. Think of all the nights you've lost sleep replaying worries in your mind. The financial stress, the family issues, the health concerns, the uncertainty about the future. You've tried to solve it by yourself, and all it's done is leave you exhausted. But when you let go, you're making room for God to step in. You're saying, "Lord, I don't know how to fix this, but you do. I don't see the way forward, but you do. I can't carry this anymore, but you can." And that prayer unlocks miracles. Malachi 3:10 says God will pour out blessings so abundant you won't have room to contain them. That kind of overflow can't happen when your hands are clenched tightly around your burdens. But when you release them, your hands are free to receive. Imagine unclenching your fists and feeling God place peace, provision, and opportunities right into your palms. That's the exchange He's offering. Your worry for His wisdom, your fear for His faithfulness, your anxiety for His abundance. It's not always easy to let go. Sometimes we think holding on keeps us in control. But the truth is, the control we think we have is an illusion. You can't control every outcome. You can't force people to change. You can't predict every twist and turn life will take. But you can choose to trust the one who already knows the ending. Proverbs 3:5-6 tells us to trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding. That's because our understanding is limited, but His is infinite. Letting go also means forgiving yourself and others. Maybe part of your burden has been carrying the weight of regret, guilt, or bitterness. You've replayed old mistakes, wishing you could change the past. You've held on to anger toward people who hurt you. Those weights are just as heavy as financial worries or daily stress. But God is inviting you to release them too. Forgiveness doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you're refusing to let it control you anymore. It means you're trusting God to bring justice and healing in His time. When you release what's weighing you down, something shifts inside you. You begin to feel lighter, freer, more open to the possibilities ahead. You start to notice God's hand in the details of your life, in the timing of opportunities, in the encouragement of a friend, in the quiet moments when peace floods your soul. These are not coincidences. They are reminders that when you let go, God takes over. Look at Jesus' words again. "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Notice he doesn't say, "Come to me, and I might give you rest," or "Come to me, and if you earn it, I'll consider giving you rest." No, he says, "I will." That's a promise. And God is not like people who break promises. His word is unshakable. The moment you lay it all at his feet, he fulfills his side of the promise. He sustains you. He lifts you up. He gives you peace. Picture yourself actually doing it. Picture writing down every burden on a piece of paper. The bills piling up, the fear of failure, the broken relationships, the uncertainty about your future, and then placing that paper into God's hands. As you let go, you feel your chest expand, your shoulders relax, your spirit lift. That's what it means to cast your cares on Him. That's what it means to finally let God carry what you were never meant to carry alone. And here's the miracle. When you let go, you don't lose control. You gain clarity. Suddenly, the decisions you need to make become clearer because you're not clouded by fear. The opportunities God sends your way become more obvious because you're not distracted by worry. The peace that settles in your heart gives you the confidence to take bold steps of faith. That's the paradox of letting go. When you release control, you gain freedom. So, take this moment as holy ground. Right now, whisper it if you need to. God, I give it all to you. Release the fear, release the doubt, release the worry. Let Him carry it. Because when you do, you're not stepping into emptiness. You're stepping into fullness. You're making space for the blessings He's already prepared for you. And those blessings are greater than anything you could have planned or imagined on your own. You've tried carrying the weight of your life on your own shoulders for too long. You've worked, you've struggled, you've fought, and yet deep inside you felt that something was missing, something beyond your strength. And now, in this moment, the divine steps in. This is not you giving up. This is you allowing God to take over, allowing the one who sees the entire picture to guide the path that you could never fully understand. This is the divine takeover. The moment where heaven intervenes in your story and you no longer walk by your own strength, but by the strength of the Almighty. You begin to notice how things shift. What was once closed is now opening. Where there was confusion, there is now clarity. You walk into rooms you never thought you'd enter, and suddenly doors swing wide as if the locks were never there. This is not coincidence. This is God reshaping your life, molding every broken piece into something extraordinary, something that will carry His glory. At first, it may feel strange, almost uncomfortable, because you've been so used to steering your own ship. But as God takes the wheel, you realize that surrender does not mean weakness. It means freedom. You no longer have to figure everything out. You no longer have to run in circles trying to make sense of the chaos. Instead, you rest in the truth that the one who created the stars is now directing your steps. The divine takeover is the greatest turning point of your life, because from this moment, your story is no longer just about survival. It's about transformation. You'll see it in your relationships. Where once there was tension, forgiveness flows. Where once there was distance, unity grows. God reshapes the way you love, the way you connect, the way you honor those around you. He softens your heart and gives you wisdom beyond your years. He aligns you with people who lift you up instead of pulling you down, people who remind you of your worth, and people who speak life into your spirit. You'll see it in your work and your calling. Suddenly, the talents and gifts that felt hidden or underused begin to flourish. Opportunities arise where none existed before. That dream you buried because life felt too heavy, God breathes new life into it. That vision you thought was impossible, He turns it into reality. And as He does, you realize that this takeover is not about you losing yourself. It's about discovering the truest version of yourself, the one that was always meant to shine under His light. You'll even see it in your struggles. The battles that once drained you no longer hold the same power. Temptations lose their grip. Fear fades. Doubt shrinks. It's not that life suddenly becomes perfect, but the way you walk through the storm changes. You no longer feel alone in the darkness because you know that the hand of God is guiding you through. And every time the enemy tries to remind you of your past, God points you toward your future, a future filled with hope and unshakable promise. This divine takeover doesn't just reshape your life, it reshapes your perspective. You begin to see setbacks as setups. You recognize delays as divine protection. You stop questioning every why and start trusting every when. You understand that even the seasons of silence have meaning because they prepare you for the breakthrough that follows. And the beauty of it all is this. As God takes control, you don't just transform on the outside. Something deeper happens within you. Your spirit awakens. Your faith strengthens. Your joy returns. You no longer chase after things that don't satisfy because you've found the one thing that truly does, the presence of God in your life. And once you taste that presence, nothing else compares. Day by day, you become more courageous, more confident, more anchored in who you are. Not because of your own power, but because of the one who lives within you. This is the transformation that no human hand can create. This is the divine work of the Almighty, the sacred rebuilding of your soul. So, take a breath, release your grip, and allow the divine takeover to unfold. Watch as the impossible becomes possible, as the broken becomes beautiful, as the weary becomes strong. Watch how your life, once filled with confusion and uncertainty, now blossoms into a story of grace, favor, and undeniable transformation. This is your moment. This is your turning point. This is the divine takeover. And from this day forward, you will never be the same. Imagine this. Your life has always been a search for peace, for love, for stability, for financial freedom, for emotional healing. Deep within you, there has always been a quiet desire to experience more than the struggle, more than the routine, more than the constant worry of, will things ever change for me? And here's the truth. You're standing on the edge of something extraordinary. Because when faith is ignited, when you dare to fully trust God, something miraculous unfolds. Abundance is unlocked. Not just financial abundance, but spiritual strength, emotional healing, and a flood of blessings that will touch every corner of your life. Faith is not just a belief, it is a key. Think about a locked treasure chest. Inside that chest are riches beyond measure. Joy, peace, strength, financial provision, opportunities, protection, and love. But without the key, the chest remains closed. That key is faith. When you trust God, even when logic says it's impossible, your faith opens the lock, and suddenly blessings that were once hidden pour into your life. Maybe you've struggled with money, feeling like you're always one step behind, working hard but never seeing the fruit. Maybe emotionally you've carried pain, rejection, or heartbreak that made you question your worth. Spiritually, maybe you felt distant, as though God was silent or far away. But the truth is, God has always been waiting for you to lean in with trust. Faith is what activates His promises. The moment you say, God, I may not see how, but I believe you will make a way, you shift the atmosphere around you. Doors begin to open. People are placed in your path. Situations turn in your favor. Suddenly, what seemed blocked begins to flow. Faith is not just about believing for small things. It is about expecting overflow. God does not want you to barely survive. He wants you to thrive. Scripture reminds us, "My cup overflows," in Psalm 23:5. That means when you walk in faith, you are not limited to just enough. You are destined for more than enough. Financially, this could mean unexpected opportunities, promotions, debt being cleared, or provision that comes from places you least expect. Spiritually, it means strength in your battles, clarity in your purpose, and unshakable peace in the storms. Emotionally, it means healing of old wounds, freedom from bitterness, and the ability to love and trust again. Think about the people in history who activated their blessings through faith. Abraham trusted God's promise, even when it seemed impossible, and became the father of nations. Hannah prayed with faith and received the son she longed for. The woman who touched the hem of Jesus' garment was healed because she believed, not because she was perfect. These stories are not just history, they are reminders that faith still works today. Faith requires you to step out, even when you can't see the whole picture. It's like walking in the dark, holding God's hand, knowing that He sees what you cannot. Every time you choose to trust instead of fear, you unlock another layer of abundance. Fear closes doors, but faith opens them. Worry drains you, but faith strengthens you. Doubt limits your blessings, but faith multiplies them. The overflow you're stepping into is not just for you, it will touch those around you. When you have more peace, you bring calm into your relationships. When your finances overflow, you are able to bless others, give freely, and break free from the chains of scarcity. When your emotions are healed, you show love and compassion that transforms those in your circle. Faith not only unlocks abundance, it creates a ripple effect that impacts everyone connected to you. Right now, picture yourself standing with a key in your hand. That key is your faith. Before you stands a door that has been closed for too long. Behind it is financial security, restored health, reconciled relationships, deep joy, and unshakable peace. All you have to do is trust enough to turn the key, and the moment you do, the door swings wide open, and you realize abundance was waiting for you all along. This is not about striving harder or doing more. It's about surrendering your fears, doubts, and control, and allowing your faith to activate what God has already prepared. You don't need to figure out every step. You just need to believe the one who holds your future. Your faith is not wasted. Every tear, every prayer, every sleepless night, it has all been watering the soil. Now, the harvest of abundance is ready to spring forth. So today, choose faith. Speak it aloud. I believe my blessings are unlocked. I believe financial provision is on the way. I believe my heart will heal. I believe my spirit will be strong. I believe my cup will overflow. As you speak it, you are aligning your life with heaven's abundance. This is your season of overflow. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. The moment you decide to trust, abundance flows. The divine has already written your story of breakthrough, of prosperity, of joy. Faith is the bridge that carries you there. Step onto it boldly, because on the other side is the life you've always prayed for. A life of blessings unlocked, overflow released, and abundance without end. Walking with God's presence is not about religion, rituals, or trying to be perfect. It's about entering into a daily relationship with Him that transforms your entire existence. When you begin to walk with His presence, you start to notice how peace gently settles into your heart, how healing flows into areas of your life that felt broken, how relationships once strained begin to restore, and how your inner strength rises like never before. You realize that God has never left you. He was always there, quietly waiting for you to acknowledge Him, to let Him lead, to allow His presence to surround you like a shield. Each morning, when you open your eyes, His presence whispers, "I am with you." In the quiet moments when your thoughts run wild with fear and worry, His presence calms you, reminding you that you don't walk through life's battles alone. You discover that peace is not found in the absence of problems, but in the presence of God who holds you steady in the storm. With Him beside you, your restless soul finds rest. The noise of the world begins to fade, replaced with the melody of His voice that assures you, "You are mine, and I will never leave you." Healing flows naturally when you walk with His presence. The wounds that once defined you, the betrayals, the heartbreaks, the failures, begin to lose their sting. His love touches those broken places deep within, gently piecing together what the world shattered. Emotional scars that you thought you would carry forever suddenly start to fade under the warmth of His presence. Even physical healing becomes possible, for when His Spirit moves, chains break and miracles unfold. You see your body, your mind, and your spirit aligning with His perfect design, and hope awakens where despair once lived. Relationships also begin to shift when you walk with God's presence. Bitterness melts into forgiveness. Walls of pride crumble, and bridges of understanding are built. Where there was once distance and hostility, His Spirit brings reconciliation. His presence softens hardened hearts, reminding you to love as He has loved you. Suddenly, conversations that once ended in conflict begin to carry kindness. Bonds that seemed beyond repair find a new foundation. His presence doesn't just heal you, it heals through you, touching the lives of those around you. And strength, true strength, becomes your portion when you live in His presence daily. The kind of strength that doesn't depend on how much energy you have or how confident you feel, but the strength that flows from knowing the Almighty God stands beside you. You stop carrying life's burdens on your shoulders because you learn to lay them at His feet. You walk lighter, freer, stronger, because His presence uplifts you. Even in your weakness, you feel His power sustaining you, reminding you that you don't have to rely on your own ability. His grace is sufficient, and His strength is made perfect in your weakness. As you continue walking with His presence, you notice how your perspective changes. Instead of chasing after the things the world says will bring happiness, you begin to desire more of Him. The stress of proving yourself fades away because you know your worth is already sealed in His love. The anxiety of tomorrow lessens because you trust the One who holds your future. Worry no longer dominates your thoughts because peace rules your heart. And suddenly life feels lighter, not because your circumstances are perfect, but because His presence makes the load easier to carry. Day by day, you start experiencing a shift. Small moments become sacred. A sunrise feels like a personal reminder of His faithfulness. A quiet breeze feels like His Spirit refreshing your soul. Even in crowds, you sense His nearness. You realize that God is not just present in church services or holy places. He is present in your kitchen, in your workplace, in your car, in your deepest struggles, and in your greatest joys. His presence is not limited by time or space, it walks with you wherever you go. Walking with His presence also awakens courage inside you. Suddenly, you're no longer paralyzed by fear. You step boldly into new opportunities, take risks, and pursue dreams because you know you're not walking alone. Even when challenges come, you stand firm because you sense His presence surrounding you like a mighty fortress. You stop living small, fearful lives and start living with confidence, knowing the God of heaven and earth walks beside you. Through His presence, you also find guidance. Those confusing crossroads in life that left you paralyzed now become clearer because His Spirit whispers direction. You may not always see the entire path, but you hear His voice leading step by step. His presence becomes your compass, ensuring that no matter where life takes you, you will not be lost. His Spirit illuminates your way, reminding you that even if you walk through the darkest valley, you will fear no evil because He is with you. As you learn to cherish His presence, gratitude becomes your natural response. You begin thanking Him for little things: the breath in your lungs, the food on your table, the laughter of loved ones, the strength to face each day. Gratitude shifts your heart, and your heart shifts your reality. The more you acknowledge His presence, the more you see His blessings manifest all around you. His presence awakens joy, the kind of joy that doesn't depend on external circumstances, but flows from within, rooted in the unshakable truth that God is near. And the deeper you walk with Him, the more you realize His presence is the greatest gift of all. Nothing compares, not wealth, not status, not even answered prayers. His presence itself is the answer. When He is with you, you lack nothing. His presence is fullness of joy. His presence is rest for your soul. His presence is healing for your wounds. His presence is power for your journey. His presence is home. So now, as you stand here, know this: you are not alone. You never were, and you never will be. His presence surrounds you, goes before you, walks beside you, and covers you. All you need to do is acknowledge Him, invite Him, and trust Him. The peace you've longed for is here. The healing you've prayed for is flowing. The relationships you've struggled with are being restored. The strength you need is rising within you. And the presence of God is guiding you into a life more beautiful than you could have ever imagined. When you walk with His presence, you're never the same again. You're whole, you're loved, you're renewed, and you're strong. You have lived too long with the mindset of scarcity. You've been conditioned to believe there's never enough money, never enough opportunities, never enough love, never enough strength. That scarcity has whispered lies into your heart, convincing you to settle for less than what God intended for your life. But today, God is shifting your spirit. Today, He is removing the veil of lack and replacing it with a revelation of overflow. When you walk with God, scarcity no longer defines you. The same God who multiplied 5 loaves and 2 fish to feed thousands is the same God who is speaking to you right now. He did not bring you this far to leave you empty-handed. He is showing you that lack is not your destiny, overflow is. Scarcity says, "I'll never have enough," but God says, "My child, I will supply all your needs according to my riches in glory." Think about the areas where you've been living in lack: your finances, your health, your peace, your relationships. You may have told yourself, "This is just how life is for me. I have to accept it." But deep down, you've always known there's more. That inner stirring, that quiet voice that won't let you give up, is the Spirit of God telling you abundance is your inheritance. Scarcity was never meant to define you. It was only meant to prepare you to appreciate the overflow that is coming. Overflow is not about greed. It's about God's grace. It's about stepping into the fullness of what He already prepared for you. It's about realizing that you don't serve a limited God, but a limitless God. When you truly believe this, everything changes. Your prayers shift from desperation to confidence. Your words shift from fear to faith. Your actions shift from holding back to stepping boldly. You no longer say, "I hope I make it." Instead, you declare, "I know my God has already made a way." Look around your life. Even in moments when you felt you had little, hasn't God always sustained you? The breath in your lungs, that heartbeat, that strength to get up another day, those are signs of His abundance already at work. And if He has carried you this far, don't you see? He is not finished with you yet. Scarcity may have written chapters in your story, but overflow will write the ending. God's abundance isn't limited to money, though financial blessings are part of His promise. His abundance flows into your peace, your relationships, your joy, your opportunities, and your purpose. Where you once felt stuck, doors will begin to open. Where you once felt forgotten, favor will locate you. Where you once felt weak, strength will rise within you. Scarcity is not permanent. It's a shadow that disappears when the light of God's truth shines. But overflow begins with a shift in your mind. You cannot step into abundance while still thinking in lack. If you constantly say, "I don't have enough," you'll blind yourself to the blessings already in your hands. God is inviting you to change the way you see, the way you think, and the way you believe. He wants you to start expecting increase, not decrease. He wants you to start declaring, "My cup overflows," even when it looks empty. Remember, overflow isn't about what you can achieve on your own. It's about what God can do through you. You don't have to strive and exhaust yourself trying to make everything work. You simply have to trust that your Father knows your needs and has already prepared the resources for you. The shift from scarcity to overflow happens the moment you believe God's supply is greater than the world's limitations. Imagine your life filled with enough peace to rest at night without worry. Imagine having more than enough joy to face challenges without losing your smile. Imagine opportunities flowing to you in ways you never expected. That is the overflow God is calling you into. You are not meant to just survive. You are meant to thrive. You are not meant to live paycheck to paycheck. You are meant to live in such abundance that you can bless others. You're not meant to live emotionally empty. You're meant to be filled so deeply with love and joy that it spills over into everyone around you. This is your moment of shift. Scarcity has had its time, but overflow is now your portion. God is declaring that your life is moving from not enough to more than enough. The doors of provision are opening, the windows of heaven are pouring, and the river of abundance is flowing straight into your life. Take this message deeply into your heart. You are stepping out of lack and into overflow. Your mindset is shifting. Your faith is rising. Your hands are opening to receive. The old season of barely enough is closing, and the new season of more than enough is beginning. From scarcity to overflow, this is your testimony. And when you walk in it, not only will your life be transformed, but you will become a vessel of blessing to others. Because God doesn't just give you enough for yourself, He gives you enough to pour into others. Your overflow is someone else's answered prayer. So rise up, child of God, lift your head, stretch out your hands, and declare with faith, "I am moving from scarcity to overflow. My God is a God of abundance, and I will prosper in every area of my life." There comes a time when your life itself becomes a message. You no longer need to explain, convince, or prove anything to anyone, because your very existence becomes a testimony of God's faithfulness. You carry within you a light that others cannot ignore. Every step you take in obedience, every act of faith, every victory you gain, it all points back to the one who has carried you. You, my beloved, are not just surviving anymore. You are thriving. And that thriving is not your doing alone. It is God's hand, God's provision, and God's promise unfolding through you. Living the testimony means you no longer hide your scars. Instead, you reveal them as proof that healing is possible. Your story may include pain, failure, betrayal, and disappointment. But now those very chapters become the evidence that God restores, redeems, and transforms. What once brought you shame now brings Him glory. What once felt like your greatest weakness becomes the very strength through which others find hope. Think of the countless lives that will be touched because you chose to live boldly in your purpose. Someone who is struggling with despair will see your perseverance and believe again. Someone who is on the verge of giving up will hear your story and find the courage to keep moving forward. Someone who has doubted God's goodness will encounter your joy and be reminded that miracles still happen. This is the power of living the testimony. You become a vessel of inspiration, a walking miracle that carries the fragrance of heaven into ordinary places. You shine not because of your own efforts, but because God's promises radiate through you. Every answered prayer, every breakthrough, every door that opened when the world said it was impossible, becomes undeniable evidence that faith is not in vain. When people see you, they will not just see a person, they will see proof that God is real, that His word is alive, and that His love never fails. But living the testimony also requires courage. It means stepping out of the shadows and refusing to let fear silence you. It means saying yes to opportunities that stretch you, trusting that if God called you, He will also equip you. It means embracing your uniqueness and realizing that your story carries power because no one else has lived your journey. Your testimony is not meant to be hidden. It is meant to be shared, to inspire, and to guide others back to hope. You will find that as you walk in your testimony, blessings multiply. Doors you never imagined will open because people are drawn to authenticity. Influence will grow, not because you sought it, but because light naturally attracts those in darkness. You will speak, and hearts will listen, not because of eloquence, but because they recognize truth flowing from someone who has walked the road themselves. And here is the deeper truth. Living the testimony is not about perfection. It is about surrender. You do not have to have it all figured out. You do not have to never stumble. What matters is that you keep rising, keep believing, keep walking. Your faith in motion is the most powerful witness you could ever give. Others may know the Bible, but they will believe the Bible when they see it lived out in you. Beloved, this is your time to shine. This is your time to walk boldly in the purpose God designed for you before the foundations of the world. Do not shrink back. Do not doubt the calling on your life. You are the living testimony of His grace, His love, and His power. And as you live it out, you become the spark that lights the flame in others, until the world itself is set ablaze with faith and hope. You are proof that God keeps His promises. You are evidence that no pit is too deep, no storm too strong, no night too dark for His light to break through. You are the testimony that inspires the weary, uplifts the broken, and reminds the world that with God, nothing is impossible. You've always known deep down that you're not just another person passing through life. There's something inside you, a quiet voice, a burning whisper that reminds you that you're chosen. You felt it when the world seemed loud, but your spirit called you into silence. You've sensed it when everything around you felt uncertain, yet your heart told you that something greater was guiding your path. And now you're here, listening to these words, not by accident, but by divine design. God has been speaking to you in ways you may not have noticed. Through the heaviness of your struggles, through the ache of waiting, and even through the stillness when it seemed like nothing was moving, He's been preparing you. Every tear, every delay, every closed door wasn't rejection. It was redirection. It was shaping you into who you're meant to be. You've carried burdens, and at times it felt like you couldn't take another step. But even in your weariness, God whispers, "Come to me, and I will give you rest." This is not just encouragement, it's a confirmation. You are chosen for something far bigger than the pain you've endured. You've been misunderstood because you carry a light that can't be hidden. You've been tested, not to break you, but to build endurance, resilience, and faith. Each challenge was proof that your story is not ordinary. It's divine. The battles you faced weren't punishment, they were training. You were being refined like gold through fire, and now you're rising stronger, brighter, unshakable. People may have walked away, but that was God's way of protecting your destiny. Loss wasn't loss. It was clearing the path for what's truly meant for you. You don't need to force what God has already aligned. Doors are opening. Opportunities are unfolding. Healing is flowing into places that once carried pain. The things you thought you'd never overcome, God is turning into your testimony. Your story will inspire, your scars will speak, and your life will shine as proof of His promises. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. Heaven has been watching over you all along. You're stepping into a season of answered prayers, breakthroughs, and divine connections. What once looked impossible is now your reality. You don't need to chase validation. You already have God's approval. You don't need to fear the unknown, because the one who knows everything is leading you. So walk boldly. Own your purpose. Stand tall in faith. Live in the truth that you are chosen, not by chance but by God's intentional hand. Your life is shifting. The waiting is ending. And soon people will see what you've always known in your spirit, that you were never ordinary. You were always chosen. Before you click away, pause for a moment. What you just heard wasn't random, it was for you. If these words stirred something in your soul, it's because God is speaking directly into your life right now. He's reminding you that you are chosen, you are loved, and you are walking into a new season filled with blessings, breakthroughs, and answered prayers. And here's the truth, you're not alone. This channel is a community of chosen ones, people just like you who are awakening to their purpose and stepping into the destiny God designed for them. If you've ever felt like nobody understood your journey, then you found your home right here. So don't just watch and leave. Be part of this movement. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a message that could shift your life. Every video here is created to encourage you, to remind you of God's promises, and to keep you focused when life tries to distract you. If this spoke to your heart, drop a comment below with the words, "I am chosen." Let the world know you're claiming your purpose, standing in your faith, and declaring your identity as God's chosen one. And if you know someone who needs this reminder, share this video with them. You could be the reason their faith gets restored today. Remember, this is not the end of your story. It's only the beginning of something greater. Stay faithful, stay hopeful, and most of all, stay connected, because the best chapters of your life are just about to unfold.